Happy Camper Radio starts in 3, 2, 1.
It makes me want to hug these guys and kiss them.
Talk about being back in warm surroundings. Oh, hello, Daniel.
Hello.
Episode 83 of the Happy Camper Radio is coming to you from the studios this week of Happy Camper Radio. In other words, you missed a fantastic camping trip last weekend.
Well,
I am going to get you and your wife up to the North Georgia mountains someday. Somehow I'm going to convince you to come on up there because we had an absolute blast. Met a lot of folks we haven't seen in a while, and we did our show from up there. Have you caught it yet?
I haven't caught it yet. I got a lot of podcasts I listen to.
Oh, Daniel, you got to catch up with
Usually I'm
the times.
on the podcast.
But we had a great time. A lot of the kids were up there, and the kids had a great time being on the show too. They just absolutely loved it.
Oh boy!
But we're gonna be doing that again soon. In fact, we are talking about the possibility of coming back up there again right after Christmas.
Oh boy!
The only problem is we got to figure out how we're going to get a lot of firewood in the back of my new pull-along trailer because I am out of firewood.
Oh,
I am
really?
totally out. And if we're going to go up there after Christmas, it is going to be bitter cold.
Well, there's a tree in my yard that I could,
Start chopping.
No, you get it chopped down.
And you'll start chopping.
It's hovering from your yard over my roof, so technically it's your problem.
Oh, listen to this.
I'm just saying. I hope that thing doesn't fall on my house.
Hey, I took down one tree in hopes that it wouldn't fall on your house already. That was a big investment right there.
It
but
was.
Anyway, if all goes well, we're going to head back up there right after Christmas. That's the talk right now. Can't say that's going to happen, but
I am going up there the week of Thanksgiving, but I'm going up to Chattanooga to stay in a posh hotel.
There you go.
It's one of those train cars. You've heard of the Chattanooga Choo Choo?
Really?
Yep.
No,
we're going to stay in one of the train cars.
Definitely send us some pictures so we can put it on Facebook.
I will.
That'll be cool. Wow.
Yep.
Well, Daniel, it's good to have you back, and it's good to be back with our listeners here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. Our phone number here is 404-537-CAMP. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker, and add us to your circles on Google+. Of course, one convenient location you can find all of our social media icons. That's our homepage, which is www.happycamperradio.com. Make sure you click on the RSS feed button, and this way you'll never miss a single episode of our show. Wow, Daniel, a long list of shout-outs today for a lot of... Whoa, my heavens! We had a lot of folks check in with us this week, and we want to recognize each and every one of them. First of all, to Janista Bailey of Canton, Georgia, Walton Doyle of Woodstock, David Fields, and Jerry Crespo of Atlanta, Georgia. We got a lot of Georgia followers close to home here, don't we?
I know.
Wow. Also want to say hello to the folks at Meadville KOA in Meadville, Pennsylvania. They tweeted us this past week from the KOA convention in Charleston, South Carolina. Hello to you folks. To Canada Dreams RV Rentals in Canada, DS Teardrop Trailers in the UK, Point South KOA in Yemassee, South Carolina. Thank you for that. Caravanstickers.com, World Camping UK, Jeff Stoller from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, to Campers Van Junkies, and We Are Happy Campers. Daniel, you can't beat that. Thank you all so very much for joining us and being a part of this great Happy Camper Radio family. Daniel, I'm out of wind now.
I hear.
Hey, but you log on to social media, you like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, add us to circles on Google+. That's what you get. You get a shout out here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. Hey, would you like to be a guest on our program? That's very easy to do. Send us an email, Skip at happycamperradio.com, and
Daniel at happycamperradio.com.
Let us know you'd like to be on the show. We have lots of ways to bring you on board, including the old-fashioned telephone method. So definitely get in touch with us. The easiest thing for you to do, of course, is sign up for a Google Plus account. And once you do that, make sure you add Happy Camper Radio to your circles. And this way, when we decide we're going to go ahead and bring folks on the program, we will send out alerts, and you most likely will be receiving one and getting an invitation to be in the studio here with Daniel and I. Okay, so, we look forward to hearing from our listeners from time to time and getting them on the Happy Camper Radio Show. Daniel, I have an interesting discussion today. Now, you are a postal carrier.
I am.
And I shouldn't
got my
bring,
belt buckle. I haven't shown you. I got a new belt buckle.
Look at that.
You have to put that on the website.
There you go. A proud postal carrier. Wow, you just can't beat this guy. Anyway, the fact that we're coming very, very close to Thanksgiving, I need to ask you, have you ever come across people right before Thanksgiving who were camped out in front of a store in hopes of getting the big deals when the doors open on Black Friday?
I've seen people in front of Best Buy when we were going. I haven't seen it on my route, but I've seen people camped in front of a Best Buy the day before Thanksgiving, which I thought was ridiculous.
Well, we can think what we want of these folks. I don't look at them as strange. I don't look at them as weird or anything like that. Some of the folks that I have seen, now I can't say I've actually seen it in person, but I've seen many different accounts on television newscasts, and some of these folks come out there with their full-blown camping gear, which tells me they have been there for days.
Well,
and it amazes me what some people will do to grab that big bargain. It may be to save a little bit of money on their Christmas gifts that they're going to buy. It may be a situation where there are only a limited amount of items inside of the store that they have for sale that will go on sale when the door opens on Black Friday. But whatever the case may be, some of these folks are just ready for that door to swing open, and they want to be first in line. And that means some folks will camp out in hopes of grabbing those bargains.
Well, it's not just Black Friday. I know, I'm sure you've heard the stories about when a new iPhone comes out, usually people will camp out for that. And some people will sell their spot in line. They'll wait in line just so they can sell their spot in line to certain people. So it's an economy within itself. And then I know Star Wars is coming out next year, and the last Star Wars, they had a lot of people that were camped outside of movie theaters waiting for the midnight showing of it so they could be one of the first ones to see it. So it's not just exclusively Black Friday. I mean, I know back in the 90s and 80s, the people used to camp out to get tickets for like a music concert or something.
Well, they do it, and it doesn't make any sense to me, because I'll tell you in just a minute how I deal with Black Friday. But, some of these people, like I say, are really excited, and I think the excitement starts building up very close to Thanksgiving. Some of these folks, like I say, want to get that jump on the sales before they are sold out. They love being around crowds, and they want to be the first in line when the stores open. Considering Black Friday, some of these folks will camp out for days, depending upon what's on sale. Some will bring their tents and loads of camping gear. I've seen that on television before. Weather conditions are not a factor to these folks, but they do come prepared. It's just like going on a camping trip. Yeah. Now, how do I celebrate Black Friday? I do that in my recliner, digesting my Thanksgiving feast from just hours before.
I never would have guessed.
You will not catch me out there looking for a bargain.
I did it one year. We went to Best Buy around 3:30 in the morning. We waited till about 4:35. That was about it. We waited about an hour or two.
Well, what really helps here is the fact that the kids are now grown, and they much prefer cash over gifts. Daniel, yes. I have never, since I started giving my kids cash for Christmas, for their birthdays, they have never asked me to return it and exchange it. Never. All right, so there's never been a problem there. Now, many great bargains, of course, can be found online. If I'm going to buy something, I am going to take advantage of the sales that I can find online. And this time of the year, a lot of businesses are in competition with each other, and a lot of them will offer free shipping.
Well, I know,
which keeps you busy.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, they always have Black Friday, and then the following Monday is called Cyber Mondays, when all these online stores have a bunch of sales and stuff, and that's when a lot of people really start getting on the internet and buying stuff online.
And you can do a lot of your shopping online right from the comfort of your very own home, and that saves time and it saves gas.
It does.
But, some people love being in the crowds. Folks who do set up their camp outside the store, I've got to say, Daniel, I believe many of them are very good, hard-working people. They've just got a different direction in life than I do. All right? No doubt that some of them are experienced campers, and the reason I say this is because some of the camping equipment that I have seen them bring to the sidewalk, to the edge of the door, I don't believe they buy that specifically for Black Friday camping only.
Yeah, probably not.
I believe that they are diehard campers, and this is just one time of the year that they break out the gear and prepare themselves for that big sale. Some of them go very elaborate. Some people have been known to camp out for days. I just don't understand why anybody would totally give up a hot Thanksgiving meal around a dining room setting with family and loved ones for sitting outside of a store. It makes no sense to me, Daniel.
Well, I know a lot of people, they'll get like a group and, they'll take turns switching out. And I think we talked about this earlier. There are some Walmarts that, they'll let you park your Winnebago outside. So maybe someone will stand in line for an hour or two and then get back in the Winnebago and maybe, do whatever.
We're going to talk about the detrimental effects of that also here in just a minute.
Okay.
Some of the things that folks do need to consider before setting up camp outside of a store. Number one, does the property or mall owners permit camping? Some may allow you to stand in line. Some may allow you to bring, say, a lawn chair. But are they going to allow tents to be set up outside? And, if folks bring tents to the mall or to the shopping center or outside the store, whatever the case may be, chances are they are going to do that for the purpose of catching a nap, maybe catching 6 or 7 hours of sleep while somebody holds down the fort outside the tent in their lawn chair. So, if folks bring tents to the shopping mall, most likely they are going to be there for days at a time. Second of all here, are there local ordinances or laws that will prohibit outdoor camping? Urban camping is it's sometimes called. You've got to consider that also. Where do you plan to pitch your tent? We've talked about sidewalks right outside the doors. Daniel, if you're going to sleep on a sidewalk, chances are you're going to have some sort of padding in place because the temperatures this time of the year are very brutal in some parts of the country.
Oh, yeah.
I can tell you how cold it was last weekend, and I was up there in the mountains. I'm not saying it gets that cold everywhere, but chances are it's going to be pretty darn cold wherever you are. So, you've got to consider your health. You've got to consider the temperatures around you at the time. Will you be camping in a grassy area next to the entrance? And is that permissible? Because I promise you, a lot of these store owners are going to be very particular about their landscaping, and some of them are not going to allow you to pitch tents in the grassy area just outside the store. Will your camping gear also obstruct pedestrian traffic? That's something else you need to consider. Most stores, I believe, Daniel, today, it's not like it was before. Some stores are open on Thanksgiving. They were just talking about that on the news today. But some stores will be closing in preparation for Black Friday. And in other words, what they may do is at 12:01 a.m. on Thanksgiving Day, they will close their doors. But a lot of their employees are going to be busy inside those stores, stacking equipment, stacking packages, stacking boxes, getting ready for the big rush the day that they decide they're going to open up, which chances are will be like within 24 hours. So it's going to be a very busy day, regardless if you are a shopper or you are an employee. Some of the employees don't like the idea of having to work on Thanksgiving. And they were talking about that on the news this morning. I was paying very careful attention to that too, Daniel. But, depending upon the business you're in. You, on the other hand, you do have Thanksgiving off because you're a government employee.
That's
and
right.
Government employees do have certain benefits that the rest of us do not have.
Well, we do deliver packages on Sunday. We will be delivering stuff, actually. We have a contract with Amazon, and we deliver them 7 days a week, all the time. We have a contract with them. So if you order through Amazon, you'll get it.
So tracking you down again during the month of December may be a little bit difficult to do the show.
Not. I hope not.
I hope not. And you were busy last year.
Yeah, it was
I
pretty
had a
crazy.
hard time catching up with you last year to get a show done, and I was doing flying solo here for quite a long time. Also, how many campers are going to be in your party? This is something else to consider. And Daniel, you brought up the fact that some people take turns. That, some folks will sit there while others may go home and grab a bite to eat and come back, and they switch places. What do you do in an event of an emergency? Some folks bring their kids out there. They make this a family event, and that may be okay. But what if the kids get sick? What's going to come first? What's more important? You know very well the health of your family, the health of your children takes precedence over anything. What about medical emergencies? Is there someone to hold your place in line in the event you have to leave for some unknown reason? You've got to consider how others might react when you return, Daniel. Some folks may feel you're cutting in line. Mm-hmm. You've got to consider that also. If you mentioned, some people do go home and get a bite to eat, maybe take a shower and come back. What about the people who don't know you, that have not seen you before? They may be 10 or 12 folks behind, and they may be intense too, and they see all of a sudden somebody coming up, and you're near the front entrance. They haven't seen you before. Things can get a little bit tense if you're not careful.
Well, I think if there's someone standing there and then someone else joins them, if someone just leaves and comes back to nothing, then that's where the problem is. As long as there's a body there, I think that's not that big of a deal. I mean, I'm saying you can't have like 10 people and that's like, oh, well, this is me. It's got to be like a reasonable number. But I think as long as there's a body there and there's not like more than 3 or 4 people with that body, I don't think it's that big of a deal. But when you get, a bunch of other people with you, then it's looking a little fishy.
And I hope you're right, Daniel, because Christmas shopping, holiday shopping, whatever you want to call it, is supposed to be fun.
Well,
you're supposed to have fun being out and buying your gifts. You're supposed to be into the holiday spirit. You're not supposed to be out there arguing and fighting with fellow shoppers. And I have seen before where people, when those doors open up, it's a madhouse.
I was just about to say that.
It's a stampede. Yeah. People have gotten hurt.
People have died.
It's a sad thing to admit, but yes, you're right.
Yeah.
And people will fight over those items. Mm-hmm. If you're the one who just grabbed that last DVD player off the shelf that's been on sale that nobody else is going to be able to get because you've got the last one, depending upon some attitudes, you never know if someone's going to come up and try snatching it out of your hand. Mm-hmm. And it's going to create a problem. And this is why store security is through the roof these days, too. Mm-hmm. Because, a lot of the store properties and the owners, starting to realize that, there's some liability here. So you've got to be prepared for those things. All right. So here's another thing. What do you do with your gear when the store opens? Let's just say Black Friday begins at 12:01 a.m. Friday. And a lot of times that's when it does. It's when the doors finally open up. Come on inside. You've got your gear sitting outside. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to tear down your gear and put it in your vehicle and then come back and hope you still have that place in line? That's something else you need to consider.
Well, I'm guessing what you do is a couple hours before it opens, you pack all your stuff up and you just stand there in line. I mean, you don't wait till the last minute, of course. That's what I'm guessing you do.
There is more safety in the recliner at home and waiting to get online, which you can do, Daniel, at your leisure.
I am off on that Friday. I by the grace of God, I got this the week of Thanksgiving off, and I might do something this Friday. I might go up there because I'm one of those crazy people that loves being in crowds, and I just love to watch people. I'm not really interested in getting really anything. I mean, if I see something that looks cool, maybe I'll get it. But I just like watching people and observing people. It's what I get a kick out of.
I do too, Daniel, but not under those circumstances. All right. Something else you need to consider too: food preparation and restroom facilities. Not all businesses are going to put up those porta-johns because they know people will be standing in line. Many campers are going to be forced to consume cold foods. You also have to consider the laws and ordinances associated with gas and barbecue grills, because I know some holiday campers are going to want to bring their cooking equipment as well. Will somebody from home be delivering hot consumables? That would probably be the best way to handle things, Daniel, if you are determined to stay in line and not move in fear of losing your spot. How are you going to deal with bathroom breaks? So you've got to consider all of this too. Something else I want to point out as well, security issues. Are there regular security patrols in the area? Is the area that you are going to be waiting in line in well lit for nighttime? You've got to be mindful of what criminals may be thinking. Don't think that just because you are there and there are 5 or 6 other people waiting in line that there's going to be safety in numbers. How much cash are you carrying? This is also on the criminal's mind as well. So you've got to be very careful and mindful of what security measures you have around you. Who are the people around you? Hopefully, some of the folks that are going to be camping and waiting for those big sales, just like you are, will share a common bond. You will have some things in common. You'll have some things to talk about. And how secure are your belongings going to be when you decide to bed down and take a nap? You know, you're going to be sleeping on your wallet. I guarantee you that. All right. So, some safety tips here for Black Friday campers. I want to go ahead and run down the list for you in case you are one of those individuals who decide that you're going to camp out on Black Friday a couple days before even and prepare to indulge in some of those big sales that are going on. And they're on television right now. They're in the newspapers right now. So they're out there. They're just dying for you to line up and enter the stores. And as you say, Daniel, competition is very fierce when it comes to some of the deals, some of the stores. So you're going to have to be very, very careful and very mindful in the event you decide to be a Black Friday camper/shopper. 1, make sure that you have a working cell phone and that cell phone is charged. If you're going to sit there like you are right now and playing Angry Birds on your phone, you're going to wear down the battery. And so, you want, for your security reasons, you want to have a working cell phone. Maybe a way to charge that cell phone, too, in the event you do have one of the cheap models that doesn't tend to keep battery life very long. Bring some extra layers of clothing in case the weather changes. Break up camp and head home if loved ones become sick. I cannot express that enough. Your family comes first. The heck with the deals, the heck with the sales. Leave them behind. Worry about that another year. If things are really that bad, give your kids cash. They love it. They appreciate it just as much. Be courteous to others. I can't tell you how important that is as well. Avoid confrontations with other shoppers. When the doors open to the stores, I can assure you it's going to be a mad rush. You are there in line. Don't think people behind you aren't going to rush to get ahead of you. A lot of these folks have something in mind that they want to buy. Chances are there is one particular item that is causing them to camp out for maybe 2 or 3 days ahead of time. I don't believe they want to buy the whole store, but maybe there are a couple things in there that they do have the intention of buying. But the fact may remain that some of these items are going to go very quickly. The store may have limited supplies of them. So you got to keep in mind, if you're going to be up at the front of the line, chances are you're going to have a mad rush behind you. So you're going to have to be on your toes when that door opens. Remember, tensions do run high as Black Friday begins. No sale or savings is worth getting hurt or arrested. The best advice, Daniel, I can give to any holiday shopper or any Black Friday camper is to do the right thing, and that's save your camping activities for the campground. Don't save it for the shopping mall.
I'm just on blackfriday.com to see if there's anything I would want to stay.
Anything that would encourage you to stay in line, right?
To catch my eye. They got pretty good deals on televisions. That's always a big thing. Televisions are a big thing most of the time.
Well, Daniel, if you find that big sale that's worth sleeping out in front of the store.
There is that Coleman store I told you about that's up off 85 up in the mountains.
Do they have some good sales for Black Friday?
Maybe. I don't know. I think we should go up there.
Well, Daniel, If you find a good deal for Black Friday, don't tell me about it. It's time now for our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. In case you haven't noticed, Daniel, this time of year, a lot of the recreation.gov campsites are beginning to close.
Oh, boy.
And the reason for this is not everybody is a fall and wintertime camper like me. But there are some folks who much prefer being out in the spring and summer months. So, the activity at some of these campgrounds are not going to be all that fulfilling, so they close the campground down. But there are some locations that are open year-round, like this location out in Texas. This week, we are going to go to Clear Springs, a campground that is open year-round. And if you're looking for an over-the-road trip, you may want to consider this individual campground. It is located in the southern pine forest overlooking a lake. Many campsites are right on the water's edge, Daniel. This is an angler's paradise. If you're a fisherman, you might want to bring your gear along here to this individual campsite. With a swimming beach, volleyball court. I don't know about swimming this time of the year, unless you decide to take that cold plunge. You're probably going to be on your own. I doubt very much they're going to have a lifeguard there to come get you in the event you're struggling. So I would probably avoid the swimming this time of the year. I understand that I've been to Texas before, but I've never been there in the wintertime, so I can't say for certain what the temperatures are going to be like. I can tell you right now, the high temperature is 42 degrees as I speak, and it's raining out, so it's not going to be very good swimming weather, and that temperature is probably going to be dropping. The group campsite can accommodate up to 100 people and provides campers with a screened shelter, restrooms, and showers, as well as 12 campsites with water and electricity. So they do have a lot to offer out there. Check out some of their activities and amenities: an accessible boat ramp, flush toilets, basketball court, beach, boating, drinking water, playground for the kids. That's so very, very important. A horseshoe pit if you're into outdoor activities, swimming, as we spoke about, volleyball courts. They've got a lot of things there for you to consider if you plan on venturing out to Texas this time of the year, or really any time, because they are open year-round. It's Clear Spring, located in Texas, and it is our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. And as always, if you have a campground that you would like Daniel and I to feature on the program, very simply get in touch with me, Skip, S-K-I-P, at happycamperradio.com, or the mailman,
Daniel at happycamperradio.com.
Make sure that you include a link to the campground website. Tell us about that place. Tell us why you enjoy camping there, and we'll feature it as one of our featured campgrounds here on the Happy Camper Radio Show in one of our future episodes down the road. Daniel, do you realize we are closing into 100 episodes of this show? And we've never had a problem finding something to talk about in the world of camping.
No, not yet.
No, it may get there, and I may have to nudge you a little bit to help out. But hey, I got to say that we have been getting some great emails from a lot of our listeners, and some of them have been saying, "Hey, why don't you talk about this?" And that's
glamping. It's always about the glamping.
Hey, you going to take it up sometime?
I'm working on it. Maybe one day.
Hey, you ought to. You're talking about this new pop-up camper, and I'm just
it's gonna be nice.
I am just dying to see it in the driveway.
Yeah, we got to figure out how big we want it. They say go big. If, the bigger the better.
Well, I will be over there taking a lot of pictures.
Right.
And I'm sure it's going to have that big blank area on the wall for that flat panel TV.
Of course, 60 inches.
Yeah. And a DirecTV dish on top, right?
Internet. It's all about the internet now.
Okay.
Netflix and stuff like that.
Well, hey, I'm looking forward to seeing it.
All right.
Just give me that phone call whenever that time comes.
All right.
Hey, thanks for joining us here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. Don't forget, you can catch us online anytime at www.happycamperradio.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker, and add us to your circles on Google+. The Happy Camper Radio Show is a presentation of Skip Huber Productions. I'm Skip. We'll catch you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.